Hey guys, and welcome back. Last time on Let's Play Dishonored, I brutally murdered our friend Piero. And the game said I'm not allowed to do that. So now here we are. Got a couple things to do. A few books to read before we can head up to our room and take a nap. Okay, so let's get started. Whale oil processing. Out at sea, they secured the beast with hooks, with lines cast from the main ship and from several smaller boats. Buoys keep the whale from diving deep. Once it's caught, a larger hook is driven through the tail, which is used to hoist the creature up through the chute. They moan and bellow for some time as the men get them onto the deck, then lift them into the scaffolding overhead. The ship adjusts its prow and returns to port in Dunwall, where the crew works on the great creature, slicing off the fattest part while it lives. That's a little depressing. But I mean, it's the reality of this fake world we live in, right, Piero? Okay. Remarkably, each specimen had the pleasure of studying during the voyage possessed some minor variance in physiology. On the second leg of the trip, east of Tivia, the crew holds aboard a female, some 42 feet in length. I estimate she weighed 35 tons, and the ship sat low, rocking side to side through the night with her thrashing. By candlelight, I took her apart, sketching and taking notes. Against her bellowing, I cut into the massive tentacles around her mouth. Within, I found rows upon rows of teeth and a baleen running along the upper jaw. Through this broom-like structure, I assumed she filtered food from the water that was too small to be chewed. Okay. Commissioned by the Lord Regent in the face of growing plague crisis, the dead counter is a position that will only be given to officers, usually of junior or middle grades. In most matters of edict or curfew enforcement, these officers will defer to the acting officer on duty. However, any dead counter will have command of the situation related to the plague and the handling of dead, including those with late-stage plague symptoms called weepers in common parlance. Starting in the month of rain, interested officers may apply for the test and, if accepted, for the 2-week training tour. They will be administered in coin rations of elixir and at 1.5 normal pay grade. Okay, failed experiments. Of course I've attempted to improve upon Sokolov's design. Of course, and why not? After all, it is likely that his thinking was influenced in some small way by our time together at the Academy. We are all of a community striving to unknot the mysteries of the cosmos. Even in those among us who possess the greatest minds are often led to a fruitful line of consideration by, how does one say it, our intellectual subordinates. Sokolov is no exception to this, despite the glamour of genius he has cast over the aristocracy. And further, it is true that many of my experiments have failed. No need to gossip about it, behind my back, in our social clubs, and in the very chambers of the Academy itself. The great ambition requires risks. You may laugh now at my door to nowhere, but someday you will not. Your children will likely see it as commonly as you see the electric lamps our streets at night. But a few short years ago, you would have laughed at Sokolov's arc pylon or wall of light. Your laughter, your condescending smiles, they are nothing but evidence of your own limited imagination. So you're creating a door to nowhere, eh, Piero? Can't wait to see that. Yeah, but so, don't know if you've... Oh, hold on. Piero, no, I will not sign off on these purchases. A bag of powdered crystal, Tivian ore. What's wrong with the metals and crystal? King Sparrow feathers? If you need feathers, sacrifice your own pillow. Maybe at the Academy, everything you needed was paid for by tariff and handed out willy-nilly, but this is my bar, or what's left of it, and we're operating on a budget. We're running low on oil, food, elixir, building materials, and everything else, so you've got to slow down. While I'm footing the bill, I will not approve your purchases unless they're absolutely required. No more copper wire or special herbs if you need those things. Go out and scavenge them. Half the city is in ruins, so no one is going to miss any of the odd crap you seem to need. So yeah, if you can't tell, Piero's not a big fan of Sokolov. It's kind of like a Edison-Tesla fight going on between the two, which I always thought was kind of cool. Okay. It is through no fault of my own that the average citizen has expressed a preference for Sokolov's elixir over my own formula, sold as Piero's remedy, a name I did not choose if you must know the truth. The public has spoken its usual message of idiocy, spending their coin as a means of selecting Sokolov's formula over mine, which I believe to be equal if not superior. Much has been made over the popularity of these concoctions as a means of resisting this remarkable new plague. I say remarkable because this strain works with an efficiency we have not seen in the history of the Empire. This plague now making its way through the city of Dunwall is unrivaled in its effectiveness. I have studied it within the blood of those afflicted, and it is nearly perfect. Elegant, in fact. And while it is true that Piero's remedy and Sokolov's elixir are known to protect the body against the plague equally, my own has properties not fully understood, which relate to the mind itself and the spirit, and it is in this way that my formula wins out. Here is where one should pay attention to this contest. For you see, Sokolov's elixir, which with its emphasis on the brute animal body, is a cross goo better suited for livestock. The subtle and secret variants in the key ingredients making up Piero's remedy ensure that it works on higher functions that separate humankind from the mindless blue-jawed hagfish swimming in the Wrenhaven River. Okay, so a bit more of the struggle between, you know, Piero's identity and Sokolov's fame. Okay, let's keep moving. Still some stuff to explore. Like that. King Sparrow feathers. Okay, so the idea is we're getting all this stuff, giving it to Piero. Piero's either using it or selling it on the black market then. It makes a little more sense for why we're picking up everything. Searching through dumpsters for this stuff. I mean, most of it made it in there, right? There's a book over here. No.
Have you lost your mind?
Yes.
You've met Piero. Good. You'll want to get some rest now. You'll be needed soon.
Okay, well,
Is the man dangerous?
Yes, very much so, but no need to fear. He is here to work with our masters.
People say he killed the Empress.
Of course he didn't. People are foolish and believe whatever they're told.
Okay. If the Admiral trusts him, then so will I.
You should trust me. I'm the only good guy here. Oh, okay, I guess that's not true. But I'm the best guy here. Okay, let's keep moving. Okay. Might as well sleep, right? Okay, so we've gotten to meet the Loyalists. And somewhere else. I mean, this just looks like the room. Okay. We are very clearly somewhere else.
Hello, Corvo. Your life has taken a turn, has it not? The Empress is dead. Her precious daughter Emily is lost somewhere in the city, and you will play a pivotal role in the days to come. For this, I have chosen you and drawn you into the void. I am the outsider, and this is my mark. There are forces in the world and beyond the world, great forces that men call magic. And now, these forces will serve your will. Use this newfound power, my gift to you. Come find me.
Okay, so, yep, to use Blink, we, set it up. You cannot save her, you cannot save her, you cannot save her. I'll do my best. Oh, and there we go. Piero's spiritual remedy. Jack says like a mana refill rather than a health refill. Now you see over there, if you wait, it'll actually increase somewhat. Corvo, I'm very sad. They said that you're dead like Mother, but I'm going to put this note in a bottle and throw it in the river because I do not believe them. Living here is very strange. I do not like it, so please come for me if you can. Who are these fuckers? Okay. Hey! Okay, so you might have noticed I just decided to jump right off. There is actually a reason for why I decided to do that. In the DLC, you play as a different character who has slightly different abilities. One of them is that when you use Blink, it actually freezes time. So you can like jump up and press it and you will stop moving. It makes it so that when you do things like that, it is actually effective. Clearly did not work this current time. Why would they be shooting at just random poor people? That's just not particularly nice. I don't get it. Okay. Well, let's keep moving. Been here long enough. Oh, there we go.
In the days that follow, your trials will be great, Corvo. Seek the ancient runes bearing my mark in the lonely places of your world, and at shrines raised in my name. These runes will grant you powers beyond those of other men. To help you find these runes, I give you this, the heart of a living thing, molded by my hands. With this heart, you will hear many secrets, and it will guide you toward my runes, no matter how they may be hidden. Listen to the heart now, and find another rune.
Let's do some things. Set you up there.
This place is the end of all things, and the beginning.
Okay.
All of time is meaningless here. Neither seconds, nor centuries.
That's why we explore, guys.
Someday this place will devour all the lights in the sky.
That's foreboding.
The one who walks here is all things. Cradle songs of comfort in bones gnawed by teeth. This is the place from which those who dabble in the black arts draw their power. And this place is their doom. I can feel the great age ending.
That one sounded a little more emotional.
This place is the end of all things, and the beginning.
Okay. So I think that's just gonna start.
Time's meaningless here.
Yeah, she's just gonna start
Neither
repeating.
seconds, nor centuries.
So we're gonna make our way over here, grab the rune. Which I'm not sure I would have had much trouble finding. Okay, and we can spend those to upgrade. So we're gonna go with Dark Vision. Once again, like I said, if any of you guys watching this want me to actually pick a specific thing, just leave a comment and I'll kind of go in that sense. You guys want me to get bend time so I can freeze time, possession so I can take control of people, devouring swarm, which lets me summon a swarm of rats. What's this, wind blast? Push people. I'm down to do whatever.
How you use what I have given you falls upon you, as it has to the others before you. And now I return you to your world, but know that I will be watching with great interest.
Nope, still there. It was not a dream. Okay, so Mystic Fish Artifact. So these are all here because I have the definitive edition. I'm gonna take them because you might as well. Field survey notes: the Royal Spy. This is the 4th day, month of high cold. Progress continues on the suppression of gang activity in the distillery district, but more slowly than I'd expected. The ruffians operating there have been cunning, I'll grant them that, but it's only a matter of time. I'll see their leaders flogged in public and sent beneath the royal executioner's blade. If I had my way, that mute bastard would be working night and day, removing the heads that need removing. Internally, the Empress does not seem pleased with my investigations. It seems that it is beyond her thinking, against her very nature as a trusting person, to believe that traitors move among us. But I know they do. They must. Jessamine would rather spend her time with the royal protector. At least he's likely to stop any immediate threat to her safety, but a strong arm is not what's needed against those who would undermine us. How will Corvo's sword stop a poisoned wine glass or an explosive delivered by courier? It will not. There are many threats around us, threats requiring meticulous efforts to police. Young Lady Emily is undisciplined, I'm afraid. Here within Dunwall Tower she receives instruction from the finest tutors known in the Isles, yet her mother spoils her and she spends most of her time lost in imagination, wasting her time drawing, or asking Corvo to teach her to fight with wooden sticks. This girl might rule the Empire someday. Every moment spent at play is a moment wasted. Okay. Let's see, what do we got here? For over a year now, I have lived away from the Abbey without the company of my overseer brethren or the guidance of the blind sisters of the oracular order. Days have passed with me, sleeping in dens of cut-purses, murderers, and worse. And the nights have seen me prowling through the worst alley and wretched corners of Dunwall. I have taken my meals with killers. At times I have ventured beyond the city walls, meeting in forgotten graveyards and outlying ruins frequented by those of ill mien. My beard has grown long, and I wear the wretched clothing and bits of boiled leather favored by Bottle Street and hatter gangs, and by those rough men and women who make their trade knifing others in return for coin. My hands have run red with blood, it's true, but I have selected my targets with care, choosing among these criminals and heretics who are not fit to live, executing them justly and using their deaths as a means of building my reputation. So far, this trick has allowed me to make my name among my murderous colleagues without taking the lives of the innocent. My goal is singular. I must impress the assassin named Dodd in order to get close to him. Of all the practitioners of black magic we have tracked, none concern the Abbey as much as Dowd. It is said that his mother was a witch from the archipelagos off Pendician coast, taken captive by pirates, venturing far from the Isles. According to the legend, by the time the ship returned, the captain was dead and the witch controlled the crew, with doubt still a shadow in her belly. The earliest stories tell of a gang killer without mercy, moving among the shopkeepers and city watch officers of Dunwall like a reaper through wheat. Then, a period of silence followed. Years we now believe he spent traveling the Isles, studying anatomy and the occult in the great halls of learning and in hidden basements frequented by fellow dabblers in the forbidden arts. Dowd is even supported to have spent a winter in the Academy of Natural Philosophy itself, and for a time, before a schism developed, he counted the Brigmore witches among his allies. All the while he honed his craft, and it is during this time that we believe he began to consort with the outsider. New reports emerged of a dusky-skinned assassin paid by the elite to eliminate their rivals in Dunwall and in other major cities across the Isles. Those who saw him and lived numbered in the handful, but all of them reported something strange. He appeared and vanished like smoke. From a nearby rooftop he gestured and a noble woman stumbled from her balcony, falling to her doom on the cobblestones below. Most recently, at this new threat of plague has arisen in Dunwall, Daud has been seen leading a gang of men in dark leather dressed as factory whalers in their vapor masks. They seem loyal beyond comprehension for one so unworthy, leading me to wonder if some of his magic is dedicated to lulling their minds, enslaving them. Yeah, maybe. Only a month ago, one young girl claims to have come upon a strange scene, carrying a bottle of milk home to her crippled brother. She was taking a shortcut through the tailor's district in a narrow street. She passed beneath a window and heard unusual sounds from within. Pushing aside the ratty curtain, the girl saw into an abandoned apartment used by miscreants for gambling and trading haberweed. An occult shrine had been erected against the far wall, which she recognized from the teachings given by her local overseer. A man she described as resembling Daud was kneeling before the shrine, muttering to an unseen spirit as if in argument. He took a carving made of pale bone from the altar before him, and the lights all went out in a gush of unclean wind. Quiet as a field mouse, she slipped away, running until she reached her home. There can be no doubts. Daud is an agent of the outsider and must die, and for there is no limit to the evil this man might do. This is my solemn oath and the great purpose of my life. Until Daud is dead and his corruption has been purged from the world, I will continue to move among the depraved, winding my way toward him. I will not drop my guise or don my overseer mask again until Daud breathes no more. Okay, so they have undercover agents trying to kill this master assassin Daud. It's something else. It's pretty cool. Okay, so we got more of these. Pick that up. Get that. Oh, so many books. The Journal of Granny Rags. Of course I'll tell you, dearie. I won't keep any secrets from you in the end. All the dreary days of my life are like the windows of a house from the kitchen. I can see out into the garden where the leaves and stalks are brown and bug-eaten. You can see a little dump of dirt where something is wrapped in a blanket and laid to rest along the rows of twisting vines. The front room looks into the street where the neighbors are setting fire to their homes, barricading themselves inside, warm and snug, dearie. Don't forget about the bedroom either. It sees into the dreary alley where hooligans are playing a game with an old man. The first two are hitting him with sticks, and the girl with them is kicking at his dry old ribs. Oh, to have these bones, to boil them in a pot. No one lives in my house anymore, dearie. No one you'd want to meet. When I lived there with my husband, we were fine, fine people. Vera more, everyone would say, your house is as grand as Boyle Manor. Better even. Your dinners are lavish and your parties are the best. When that young Sokolov came to paint my portrait, I was nearly still in my prime. Radiant, he said, and he was just barely a man, so young, painting all the best people across the land. Everyone wanted a portrait by his hand, all my friends. I was the only one, dearie, wet with his paint, glistening on the canvas for a pretty coin. But it wasn't all parties and paintings. My husband and I weren't always at home. No, we traveled together, he and I, to the far ends of the Isles, beyond even all the way to the red cliffs of Pendicia, to dig in the rock and crawl through the caves, holding up candles and squinting at the walls. Many precious things we came upon, but none so precious as the boy with the black eyes, dearie. All those marks and bones carved so deep, polished so bright. I brought the old bones home, hid them from my dear husband. Then I learnt to boil them and carve them myself. They made such good presents, dearie. The little mute boy took them home. He loved them so. All the time he came back with new bones for me, holding them up so I could see it in his eyes. Even though his tongue was still, Granny, his eyes would say to me, carve these bones for me. Make me another present. And he went so far, all the way to Dunwall Tower. The royal headsman himself now. My little mute boy and his shiny, shiny sword. The royal headsman himself. I wonder who this is. Better bones were what I needed, you see. Better bones to carve and polish, scrape and gleam. My dear old husband was always tired. I made him soup and then he was sick. Better bones was all. For my little mute boy carved in the name of one with the black eye. And after my husband was gone, giving away his birthday gifts, I didn't want to live there anymore. She used her husband's bones to give to this boy with black eyes. Oh my god, Granny. So now I'm old and don't have many to give presents to. It's sifting through the garbage for granny rags and feeding the little birdies that gather at my feet. No one wants to have tea, dearie, especially those rude louts on Bottle Street. Slackjaw and his boys, always meddling with an old woman just trying to make her way. In the end, we'll be together with him. You and me in the dreary night with stars above and below, and always one with the black eyes, dearies. Okay. I don't know, where would you come across this? Like, it doesn't seem like something a normal person would have. Mystical Wolfhound artifact. So let's grab those. Grab some money. Early life and criminal record. Slackjaw. You want the chinwag on Slackjaw? What he was like when he was young, before he got his name? Oh, he's a cool head now, but it weren't always like that in the days before he was boss of Bottle Street gang. Time was young, Slackjaw wasn't a reasonable man. Like most of us, he grew up in the streets, running with a pack of ragamuffins, and avoiding the law, pitching whatever he needed. Dark-haired and dark-eyed, smoking a pipe the age of 10, for then, born into the brothels or coming from the orphanages, it was either the gangs or working with the mudlarks, and no one wants that. Some got pressed into the Navy or put down in the mines run by the Pendleton or Boyle families. As hot as it was on the streets, as hungry as we all got, at least he was free. By the time we weren't little uns anymore, Slackjaw was one to watch, usually calling the shots when we took down a farmer's cart or a sidewalk street vendor. He'd come up with a plan, give everyone some part to play, and decide on the split. Most of us just went along, because we learned fast that we made out better like that. More food, more coin, plus none of us wanted to deal with Slackjaw when he was in a rage. He worked on a couple of big jobs with Black Sally across town, and that was enough to get the attention of the other bosses. He wasn't just a street kid anymore, now he was an up-and-comer, which meant trouble. Another guy fancied himself as such was Mike the Fish, who was working his way up, running the protection racket among the factory women. One fine evening, we were all taken in Baldy's show in the theater house. Mike the Fish and his lot are there in the cheap seats too, just down the aisle from us. Mike gets a wild idea. He wasn't big on planning and throws a heavy ceramic spittoon at Slackjaw. Hits him square in the face and breaks his jaw. We look to see if there's going to be a blood brawl, but Slackjaw just points at the door. We all leave, with Mike laughing at our backs. Waking up the next day without telling us why, Slackjaw motions for us to follow. He still can't say a word, so we just come along. We stop at the jock, and Slackjaw buys, actually pays coin for it, a heavy chain covered in hooks. It's for fishing in the deep, something you'd attach to a long line off the side of a ship. It's about 4 feet, made of thick links, and there are shark hooks coming off at different angles. Slackjaw got that thing wrapped around his left arm, dangling at his side. Not sure how he knew where Mike the Fish was staying, but when we reach his girl's house, Slackjaw throws a bottle through the window just like that. It's almost noon. There's a bunch of screaming inside, and Mike pokes his head out, looking wide-eyed and baffled. When he sees Slackjaw out in the street, a look comes over his face, still gives me the willy. Pure murder. Mike comes out the side door, bellowing like a blood ox, holding a cleaver, heading straight for Slackjaw. When they come together in the street, Slackjaw spins, and the shark hooks bite deep into Mike's arm and shoulder. He screams, but Slackjaw holds onto the chain. He's standing there with his jaw broken, clenched tight, with the chain wrapped around his left arm, hooks sunk into the Mike the Fish, just knifing him as fast as he can. Mike couldn't fight very well, hooked like that, and using his left hand, but he was a big guy, and it took a lot of stabbing before he went to his knees. Everyone was cheering at first, but then we all went quiet. Just kept going and going, until finally it was just Mike the Fish blubbering, crying like a baby, the sound of Slackjaw's knife. When it was over, and here's the brilliant part, Slackjaw took out a note, stuck to Mike's face with a nail. It just said, "If you want a job, come to Bottle Street." Slackjaw didn't talk right for a couple of months, but word spread. By the end of the year, once we had a sizable gang going, he sent out letters to the other bosses telling them that he was running a brand new crew over on Bottle Street. Most of them laughed or beat up the guys who delivered the letters. Green-eyed Trish even came back missing a thumb. But apparently Slackjaw was expecting that kind of reaction and had a backup plan. A week later, 4 of the bosses were dead. Seemed like a series of unfortunate events, but everyone knew better. One shot dead by the watch while standing in the middle of a meat market, another slipping and falling into the water, out cold. One of the older bosses found in bed with his belly opened wide with the Tivian pear stuffed into his mouth. Still not sure what that meant. And Sheila Bondsworth was found bubbling in a cauldron of hot wax. Slackjaw sent out another set of letters, offers to the underbosses, telling them they'd be treated fair as peers. He even sent Green-Eye Triss with one of the letters. All of the underbosses accepted. After spilling the guts of his main competitors, Slackjaw went in for stabilizing his business, real neat-like, calling in favors, smoothing things over, giving everyone a little bit of coin to drink as a bonus, showing what he could be like as a boss. So everything got quiet, which always makes the boys of City Watch nervous, of course. Word went out among the Royal Spy Master Snitches, the responsible citizens group they called themselves, telling everyone working in a shop or sweeping off the front steps of their homes to keep watchful eyes with Slackjaw and his men, trying to suss out what they were up to and what had just happened. But Slackjaw ain't stupid. He greased a few palms among the shopkeepers and the watch too, telling them that he was in town to stay and that things would be run properly from now on, without so much blood. He was finally a real boss, ready to settle into the business of moving whiskey and running the hounds' fights, and offering up the ladies and gentlemen of the night, if you take my meaning. Then the plague come. At first it seemed like a good thing. A few people got sick, everyone wanted to buy those potions from Sokolov and Piero, health elixir or spiritual remedy they call them. Slackjaw told me he saw an opportunity. We already had an old whiskey factory with the still, where we could water the stuff down, sell it discounted, doing the same with Sokolov's elixir. It's a smart plan. Pretty soon everybody in the slums was sick and business was good. But after a while there were so many people down with the plague that everyone got scared. Everybody started acting real nasty and everything fell apart. When people can't work, they don't have the coin for elixir, watered down or pure. When the Empress died, it seemed like Dunwall would slide into the void. Spy Master Burroughs took over and the watch started using all that new Sokolov technology. Watchtowers, toll buoys, and them arc pylons. They put up a wall of light across Clavering Boulevard and cracked down hard. But Slackjaw surprised us again. Instead of leaving town on a boat bound for Morley or one of the other isles, he stayed and kept it all together. We get as much elixir to fight off the plague as the City Watch with their taxes and rations. And that's kept us alive so far. Okay, so Slackjaw seems like a pretty powerful guy, right? Read that. Cool. So, I know we have not gotten much done. We did get our abilities to teleport, though, and talk to this heart.
Somewhere in the basements below, Hound kills Hound, and money changes hands.
Oh. You know what? Before we end it off, let's go and get that rune, because we might as well.
Such laughter, and they're singing the old songs, linking arms. But that was from a happier time. Deals are made here, sometimes under the influence of wine, and sometimes the influence is the point of a knife.
Okay, so this doesn't go very far.
Before the sun rises, they toss any casualties into the river, men or hound. They all go in. They top off the wine with river water, but eventually someone swoons. Then fresh bottles are fetched from the cellars.
I can't get up here. Come on. Come on, Corvo. There we go.
Their fate rests on your effort, on the strength of your hands, and of your heart. They stood in a circle around the candles, and cut their hands to form their alliance. The blood hissed as it touched the flames. The conspirators have found a safe home here. They take great care that they are not followed. The ale here is sweetened with honey to hide the taste of river brine. The sober speak in whispers, the drunk bellow. Fortunes have been won here, and lives have been lost. The old man claimed a dark corner and drank himself into oblivion. The hounds were the first to find him.
Oh god.
They are burning whales.
I mean, everyone's burning the whales. It's like the whale oil, right? It's kind of the thing right now.
Somewhere in the basements below, hound kills hound, and money changes hands.
Okay, so with that, guys, I believe that'll be the end of our 3rd episode. When we come back, we will talk to Admiral Havelock and probably start our, adventure as an assassin or a pseudo-assassin. Who knows? Considering I don't expect many of you to comment, in fact, I don't expect many of you to even watch this, I'm probably going to go for a low chaos, only given that it's canon. I don't know if I've mentioned that before, but in the 2nd game, it's canon that the... oh god, we have to talk to everyone again. It's canon that the good or low chaos ending is where the 2nd game starts off. Okay, so till next time, see you guys later.